Welcome back to Wager Talk TV. My name's Andrew McGinnis, joined by Dave Koken, Teddy Covers, Steve Merrill. We just had Tony Finn with us. He disappeared the second the show started. We'll hope to get him back ASAP. I'll start around the horn. Steve, first time doing a show with you, so I'll start with you. How are you doing? How's your time at Wager Talk been? And more importantly, how are you liking this MLB season? Because we might not have one for long.
Well, first of all, we just talked about bunkers, and lo and behold, Tony disappears, and now he's back out of the bunker right as I said this. That's the magic word, bunker, makes him come on and off, so you can use that as needed. I'll use it next hour when we do the NBA show with Tony. I'll be using the magic word as well if he gets out of hand. But, no, it's been a great start here at Wager Talk. Looking forward to get started today with best bets for baseball and basketball at wagertalk.com. I'll be there full-time now going forward, starting today. And then, of course, the NBA show at 3 p.m. Eastern. Right after this, I'll be hosting.
And, of course, this is First Pitch. You can find the show 7 days a week. Very excited to announce that. Of course, everybody knows by now. They should know by now. 7 days a week. During the week, it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, a little bit earlier. I believe, Dave Koken, it's 11 a.m. Eastern on the weekends. I'll throw it to you, my partner in crime, Dave Koken, at Dave Koken on Twitter. How we doing, buddy?
Doing fine. The weekend show is earlier, obviously, because of the day games. And the hope right now is that we still have games to talk about come like Monday, because it's getting dicey out there.
Mr. Teddy Covers, at Teddy_Covers on Twitter. How are you?
I'm okay. Getting dicey on this show. It's so interesting how the different sports are dealing with positive tests. MLB, where there's travel between cities, airline flights, buses, etc. Now, with what happened today with St. Louis and Milwaukee, you have a couple of positive cases. Now they're canceled. That's a big concern. Whereas the NBA, you're getting the positive cases. They're isolating the positive cases. The rest of the teams are going to play. But with baseball right now, it's like make hay while the sun still shines, because you don't know how long it's going to be here. So while it lasts, we'll go. But baseball is going to have to play through positive tests for the season to exist. And right now, it doesn't look like that's going on.
You can find Teddy at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Tony Finn at WagerTalk. How we doing? Another day above ground, Tony, so we must be doing all right.
Good day. It's a good day. I've yet to piss off my wife, but I'll work on that, and I will succeed.
I guess we'll get right into it, guys. I want to go over just some packages, because we've got a big weekend coming of, Teddy kind of said it right to me when I said slowly but surely when I spoke with him last time. It's not slowly but surely. We've got sports. I'm very excited to have, NBA, NHL back as well. What are today's packages? I'll start right back with you, Tony Finn. What can we go and grab at wagertalk.com from you?
Well, you can grab Teddy Covers, you can grab Dave Koken, you can grab you can grab me, Steve Merrill, you can grab anybody you want. I have 2 baseball plays, and I have a big play tonight in the restart of the NBA in the bubble at Orlando. I have a 5%er. It's guaranteed if you want to purchase that. And I have 2 baseball games, both of them. One's a high roller and one's a best bet. I like both a lot.
Teddy, right back to you. What can we grab at both Sports Memo and Wager Talk off you?
I got the opposite ratio of Tony. I got 2 in the NBA for tonight and 1 in MLB. And, of course, we already have NFL Week 1 locked and loaded. 5% are there. So 3 different sports up and available right now at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com.
Dave, you're still doing KBO just like myself, and that doesn't look like it's going anywhere. How's that going for you? I know you were on a great streak with that. Of course, MLB action. Anything else that we can go grab at Wager Talk off you?
I finally lost the KBO game this morning. And it was
isn't that a great phrase to even say? I finally lost.
It's been pretty good. It was the first 5 under, and I lost it in the first inning. So it was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to sleep, and I did. I will not have a KBO play on the Saturday schedule. I did the 5 games. Excuse me, and I don't like anything in KBO, but I do have some baseball tonight. The featured play is up, and when you read the analysis on the featured play, you'll also get a second play on the same game. So it adds up to a pretty nice investment. And for my All Access subscribers, there's another game that I played a -1 on. So there's actually 2% plays on that. So that's up right now. I don't do basketball, but I will have NHL tomorrow.
Steve Merrill, I gotta say, the loyal viewership with the NASCAR show, the education you guys are providing, it's great. How are things with you? Like you said, you're fresh to Wager Talk, but not fresh to the sports gambling industry. That's for sure. How are you doing? And what can we grab off you at Wager Talk?
Yeah, we're going to have both baseball and basketball. I'll be covering both MLB and NBA, and then, of course, college and pro football when that resumes or starts in a month or so. But, yeah, wagertalk.com, baseball best bets, basketball best bets each day going forward.
So, guys, we don't want to get too much into it talking about COVID-19 on every show, but it's obviously a thing that is happening right now, and obviously we're getting some positive tests throughout the league. We have the Brewers Cardinals was a game scheduled for us. Now we're going to look at the Yankees Red Sox, which is obviously a featured game, a game that people would want to talk about. I'm going to go over to you, Dave, first. Your thoughts on this matchup. I know you're a Red Sox fan. You've already crapped on them probably about 6 times this season on this show. So you're not much of a homer. What are your thoughts here in this, pretty marquee matchup, I guess?
Nobody should be a homer when it comes to gambling. So that's, Ryan Weber is not a major league pitcher. He just isn't. Okay. I mean, his numbers are horrible and his stuff just isn't, it's not going to play at this level. Jordan Montgomery, he was I think 6th in the rookie of the year balloting a couple of years ago. And of course he got injured. He's back. All reports are he's looked good. I haven't seen him pitch in the summer games, but I understand he looks solid. Red Sox 2 hit lefties. So you might see some runs in this one. Certainly would think the Yankees are going to get their share of runs against Ryan Weber, who, again, he just has no business being in the majors.
Teddy, the last time we spoke, I mentioned to you that I had a fortunate win with an over involving a Pirates game in the 9th inning. Yesterday, I had a winner on the Yankees run line. All rise for the Judge. Aaron Judge gets it done for me. I gotta go buy a lotto ticket or something because it's off to a pretty good start with those type of wins. Hopefully, it doesn't turn the other way on me. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Yankees, Red Sox? Obviously, it's one, like you said, pre-show. People want to talk about. Is it a game you're involved in?
I'm not involved in it, but if I was going to be involved, I could only look at the favorite and I could only look at the over. And let's not forget that the Red Sox very dicey bullpen was used extensively against the Mets. Workman's pitched back-to-back nights. I don't think he's going to be available. So even if Boston's in position to close out that game, I don't know how they're going to do it. And again, last night the Yankees showed, which they will continue to show, that they're a team that we trust in high leverage situations. They're going to beat up bad bullpens. Boston's got a bad bullpen. So it's a type of spot where if I'm playing, I'm laying the price. Maybe I'm laying the 1.5. And I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of an overplay. Not a strong wind out to left, but the wind is blowing out. It's going to be hot, hazy, and humid in the Bronx this evening.
So, Teddy, liking the over, liking the favorite here, how do you feel about the team total as well? Something I've been cashing in on with the Yankees team. Does that make sense to you, obviously?
Okay. Yeah.
You like the favorite, you like the over.
Sure. But again, with the over, it's not a first 5 over. It's a full game over because I want to bet against certainly Boston's bullpen. So there's a lot of the questions, with the unders. And I saw Koken tweeted something the other day. He's like, if I'm playing unders, I'm playing first 5s. I agree with that assessment wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, I understand going in, I'm paying a penalty on the math, but I'm also taking the extra innings out of the equation.
And you know what you're getting going into it. More importantly, you talk about the math on it, but you know who you're getting and what you're getting for the most part.
But let's understand there is a penalty. You have to accept the penalty of playing a first 5. It's 5 full innings as opposed to 9, which is 55%, and you're playing a number that frequently is only going to be half the full game total. So, but I'm willing to pay that penalty to stay away from the new pitching rule as far as the 3-batter minimum, volatile bullpens, and the extra innings.
Steve Merrill on Twitter at Steve Merrill. Do you have any play in this Red Sox Yankees game? And do you agree with that way of thinking, that theory, especially with the new rules? Are you looking at full game overs, first half unders? Do you agree with that way of thinking?
Yeah, I think it also depends on how you handicap baseball. Obviously a lot of people look at starting pitchers. The odds are heavily dependent on the starting pitching matchups. So if you're weighing heavily and you're handicapping on the starting pitchers, the first 5 inning makes a lot of sense because you are taking that uncertainty of the bullpen out. I think if you like underdogs, sometimes maybe you want to look at the full game more because that randomness can help a big underdog. But if you're playing favorites, if you're playing starting pitchers in your handicap, first 5 makes a lot of sense. I agree with the overs as well with the new extra inning rule where they automatically put the guy on second at the top of the 10th. We always get extra runs with extra innings. That's always been the case with baseball, but we're going to get more of them because they're going to have a guy on second. The road team and the home teams can both score easier now. We saw that walk-off grand slam with Oakland last Friday night. That was obviously the home team. But then last night, what was it, the Giant game? I think 7 runs scored in the 10th inning. Now, that game had already gone over. I think there was like 12 already. But, it's a situation where we're going to see a lot of extra runs, and it's kind of like in football or other sports, or college basketball or the NBA. You get to overtime, you're going to be screwed basically with an under.
So as far as a play goes in this game, is there anything you can give our audience side or total here?
Yeah, I'm not using this game tonight, but one thing I wanted to say about the Yankees versus the Red Sox, the Yankees are so efficient offensively. Both these teams have 17 hits the last 2 games. Red Sox 10 runs, Yankees 17 runs on those 17 hits. And as you said, Andrew, we saw it again last night with Aaron Judge winning that game late with the home run. I will also point out, though, it's a travel factor here. Red Sox remain in New York after playing the Mets. Yankees, after that big comeback win with the rain delay last night, have to travel back home. So I'm not in love with the Yankees at the big number just due to the fact it could be a little bit of a flat spot.
It's funny, I was complaining about how, some of these pitchers, they're talking. I talked yesterday on the show about textbook baseball, or even especially in the extra innings, the guys on second, trying to find a way, not even just a bunt, but a single to get that guy to third base. And, you look at what happened last night with Judge and that home run that he scored, and that just proves the new age of baseball. I mean, this guy could strike out the entire game, goes up and makes that play, gets that home run, and that's all he'll be remembered for. And that's just, to me, the definition of new age baseball. That's just the world we're living in now. Tony Finn at Finn at Wager Talk. The price has gone down here a little bit on this one. How does that impact your thinking here?
No, and these guys have said I can't say anything they have not said, and that is Weber. I was looking at some of his numbers. The one thing that has been said, he has some outings where he's pitched for more than 40 or 50 pitches. Long story short, and has a swing and miss rate of about 3%. So if you're facing the Yankees and your swing and miss rate and you're pitching to contact, well, you better have your armor on the mound. That's all I have to say. As far as Montgomery goes, I think if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think he had 1 start last year after coming off Tommy John. So if he's going to have, he looked great this spring from what I understand. I didn't see him play, but all the reports I get were that he actually had some command. That's always my question with TJ.
If he's back to where he was as a rookie, he's going to be a nice addition to the staff. I mean, it's not like he didn't have spectacular numbers in that season, but you could tell he knew what he was doing out there. Yeah. And it's just what the Yankees need is another good arm.
Tony, I want to throw it back to you with Indians Twins. Indians, we have it listed as -116 favorites here. Do you have a play on the side or total, or just your thoughts overall on this game?
I like this game. I made a play on this game. And I think those who are in the audience, those who listen to this broadcast, you guys know that I'm a big Master fan. The Master I call Clevenger. And since I've been a fan of his since he was a rookie when he couldn't get left-handers out. That's just not the case anymore. He does his numbers against left-handers are significantly better, and he's tough on right-handers. And I know Minnesota. This is a team that has no problem swinging the bat. They have no problem making contact, hard contact, line drive contact. However, this is a situation where I think the Cleveland, even though they've showed the deficiencies offensively, I think the price is I think this price is a steal at basically $1.20, $1.30, what you're seeing on Clevenger, and that's who I like.
Every Friday show here on First Pitch, we're going to call it the baseball bunch, not the Brady bunch, the baseball bunch. We're going to try and have as many handicappers as we can from both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. I want to give this a little shout out here for anybody interested in grabbing, whether it's Teddy, Dave, Steve, Tony, or myself. Use coupon code 399MLB. Get the entire season, if there is a season, for $399. If there isn't, you'll be issued a refund at said date. Customer service will take care of you. For right now, we do have baseball. We're talking baseball. On the topic of talking baseball, I'll throw it back to you, Teddy, for Indians Twins.
So Cleveland's not hitting. They had that one game where they scored 9 against the weakest pitchers the Royals have. And their other 6 games, they combined for 15 runs. We like Clevenger, clearly. we don't like the Indians lineup right now, and the money's come on the over here. Not my money. I'll put it that way. It feels like the team with the starting pitcher who we want our money on, and the Indians lead baseball in ERA right now. They're bullpen, fresh, rested, and ready.
Yep.
They're not hitting. You put those two factors together. For me, totals are a simple concept in that the over teams, when I'm betting overs, I want a hot lineup and a bad bullpen. When I'm betting unders, I want a cold lineup and a good bullpen and a starter who can throw. We've got that in Cleveland right now. Under makes a lot of sense to this better.
Throw it to you, Steve Merrill. Indians, Twins. Do you agree with Teddy's thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I like following momentum in baseball, especially offensive momentum, and both of these teams have not been hitting the ball. As Teddy said, Cleveland's been bad all year long except for the one game. But what's interesting about this game, guys, is that both bullpens have very strong numbers this year. So it's one of those cases where you could make an argument you're okay playing the full 9-inning under versus the first 5. And if you look at the total right now, it's 9 to the over. It's 5 for the first 5 innings. So the odds makers have not adjusted the 5-inning line versus the full game line. And I think that goes in line with the fact these are 2 weak offenses and 2 good bullpens.
Dave Koken, last but certainly not least, your thoughts on this Cleveland Indians versus the Minnesota Twins game?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to add much to what's been said about Clevenger already. I mean, the only and nicest thing for Clevenger is he's following Bieber.
Yeah.
And Bieber's the type of guy who can put a team into a slump. I mean, his stuff is just insane. So Clevenger does have that advantage of facing a lineup that got cooled off in a big way last night. Dubnak has been pretty good for the Twins. His stuff seems very ordinary, very pedestrian, but in his limited sample from last year and this year, guy looks like he knows he can pitch a little bit. I'm not going to play it. I've already got 2 plays. I just don't like going more than that. But I think that the under here is live, and that being the case, I'd be looking at first 5 under, despite the fact that the bullpens are both pitching a pretty good ball. I still am going. That's something I'm just going to stick with until I've lost 1 so far, playing first 5 unders.
Dave,
and the thing is that a couple of those first 5 unders that won turned into full game overs. So I'm glad I played it that way, and I'm not going to change.
So Teddy starts off right away by saying, this team is not hitting. Steve agrees, likes the same play, looks at that. He's talking about momentum. And what you're talking about is following up a guy that could possibly cool down a team. What really comes to my head when I hear the 3 of you guys say that, Tony talking about the pitching, is the 60-game season compared to the 162, right? So if you're a momentum guy and you're, what have you done for me lately? What you said about, following a guy like that is how much more do you take that into account this year versus last year? I mean, with the very few amount of games we have, I mean, the percentage of games that Joe Kelly got suspended for, such a massive amount, and right now, look at that. Like you said, you get a team cooled off for 1 or 2, that's a portion of the season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, each game counts for about 2.5.
Yeah, but as a handicapper, we can't think about.
No.
I'm really not thinking about the 60-game season. I'm thinking about what's on tap for today,
exactly.
What we see yesterday, what's on tap for tomorrow.
Right.
As a handicapper, you can't get lost in, hey, it's the 30 games from now they're going to play this strategy.
Because this is this year, right, Teddy? And that's last year?
So it's just
it's kind of like this. Here's the example. The question I get asked the most, despite the fact that it's clearly not my best sport, the question I get asked the most
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? And my answer is, I really don't care. I'll let you know when I know what the 2 teams that are playing are. Because until that time, it doesn't matter to me. It's like the same argument in college football. Who's going to be in the playoffs? I'll let you know when the playoffs start. I'm looking at winning on a daily or weekly basis in football. I don't care about what happens. That's for the rubes. Sorry, that's the way that's for the gambling rubes. I'm not talking about playing futures as a rube thing, although I think the NFL you get screwed so bad at value. I think it's a bad bet for the most part, but that's another story. But it's just not the way everyday bettors approach things. We don't care about down the road.
Let me rephrase a little bit, Teddy, because I think you and I are on the same page. But to rephrase, I guess, is that because there are less games, there is less time to slump, is what I was trying to say. A slump, obviously on a shorter scale, if a team that we thought was going to
but I'm going to interrupt you because there's 16 teams getting to the playoffs, so that took a lot of the slumping out of the equation.
Sure
I'm
did.
not
Okay, you
talking
can-
about the playoffs though, just in
No,
general.
what I'm saying, it
Playoffs.
it doesn't the attaching more meaning to 60 games because it's a shorter sample or a shorter amount. It makes sense until you look at the fact that they increased the playoffs by 62.5%. Okay, I mean, what it was 10, right? Now you got 16. So I'm not buying into the sense of urgency, and we're not seeing the managers manage as though there's a sense of urgency. They are using a lot of load management already.
For sure. All I'm saying is that, I'm a hockey guy, so I'll use the reference. The Stanley Cup defending champion, St. Louis Blues, were in last place on New Year's Day, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. That cannot happen as much this season, I don't feel. I understand what you're saying. More
I'll
playoff
tell you what.
teams
I'll
this year.
jump in on this, and that is if you're making the 16-team field, and essentially what you have is a 3 games. Whoever has the best seed, the high seed, the best record, it's 3 games in their park with no fans. I don't see the advantage there other than travel. That's all you have. And if you have, like Teddy has said, like these guys have said, if you have Cleveland, you're live. You're so live, it's incredible because you have pitching in a 3-game series, 2 hot pitchers, and for the most part, my money's going to be on the team is up 2-0 in a 3-game series. Oh, they already won. What you have there is this season's made for a dark horse to be the World Series champ. So, Dave, who's going to win the World Series?
After all of that, who's going to win the World Series?
Actually, it's probably going to be the Yankees. I mean, they're better than everybody else.
After all that, you gave us one.
Yeah, but if you bet the Yankees at their current price, you're out of your mind. It's terrible. I mean, it's an awful bet.
Astros Angels, Dave, right back to you.
Andrews is interesting because he's a relief pitcher, okay? That's what he is. He should not be starting. So I'll be interested to see how Madden handles him because he's a 3 or 4 inning guy. If you look at his numbers, his second time through the batting order, 291 batting average, 823 OPS. Third time, this goes back to when he actually was starting, 299 batting average, 907 OPS. That's a relief pitcher. You don't want him seeing the opposing lineup more than once. And here's an Astros team that if they get comfortable with him, they'll smash him around. So, it's really tough for me to make a case for the Halos. And, of course, Mike Trout is away from the team on paternity leave. The price was big enough to keep me out of the game, but I have no interest in the Angels here.
Steve, down to you. Hefty price here. Nothing like crazy. We definitely have seen worse on this slate. But are you willing to lay this number here with the Astros?
Yeah, first I wanted to mention as far as momentum with the baseball season, these guys play every day in a 162-game season anyway. So I think the one sport where I don't worry about it as much is this because these guys play every day. They travel and play the next day. So even though it's a shorter season, I feel like the format is very similar, especially since they're using home stadiums still. As far as this game goes, one thing that jumps out to me is the huge difference in bullpens. And I'll go back to our first 5-inning discussion. Something else you can consider playing full games versus first 5s is when you have a team like Houston that you like because they do have a solid bullpen, whereas the Angels' bullpen has been atrocious this year. So if you like Houston, you're better off probably playing the run line, playing the full 9-inning instead of laying more juice with the 5-inning run line. I think the under could be worth a look here. The Angels make me a little nervous, obviously, but they're not hitting the ball well. If you look at their recent games, they put up 5 runs on 5 hits, 7 runs on 8 hits. I don't think that continues. They're not getting a lot of hits, and I think in long run, that's what translates more to scoring.
I just have to jump in for a second on a message because Douglas keeps sending this message. I don't know what to tell you. I would say write a new ticket to customer service.
Douglas, I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that right after the show. I'll take care of that
because I don't know what to do. Okay,
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it right after the show. Not a problem.
That. Thank you.
I'll take care of that for you. I'll throw it to you, Tony. We're seeing it both 9 and some 9.5 with the total in this game. We've mentioned the side a little bit. Any total thoughts from you on this game?
No, well, I wish I knew more about what they were going to do with McCluers. I mean, this is a guy who went 2 years, I think 720 plus games without pitching. Here's the deal: he threw 92 pitches. And looked good. It was against Seattle. is a team that struck out more than any team in Major League Baseball last year. There's a lot of questions. The Angels, they're no juggernaut, especially without Trout. Although Trout has done squat really so far this year.
It's Trout. Okay.
My question is, what are they going to do with McCluers? This is live action against a better lineup than Seattle. Is he going to throw 50 pitches? Is he going to throw 92? So are they going to go to the bullpen? If they're going to go to the bullpen earlier than they did last time, I like the under in the game. That would be my total thought.
What's our updated thoughts on Ohtani from you, Tony?
Sophomore jinx, maybe, I don't know. He's a kid who still has a lot to learn about Major League Baseball. He was obviously the two, the pitcher hitter. He just was a stud. I remember watching all these videos. Is he going to come to the States and play baseball? Well, he got right offer. He's playing, and I think he's a good player, but he's never going to be the best player in baseball, and he's never going to be, in my opinion, it's going to take an awful lot for him to live up to his supposed Hall of Fame prospect projected status. So
because he's a two-way player.
Right.
Whether he stays that, I don't know. I'd be a little dubious about the fact that in this start, which was a train wreck, obviously, and he didn't get anybody out, but he also was concerned about the fact that his velocity wasn't what it was supposed to be, and he never threw a split-finger fastball. Didn't throw a single splitter. I'm not sure the arm is all the way back yet. He is starting to swing the bat, though.
Teddy, just so you know, I still am wondering your thoughts on this game. Astros, Angels. Find Teddy on Twitter at Teddy_covers. What are you thinking here, Teddy? Side or total? What do you have for us?
So, Ohtani's gone yard twice this week. So you know, Teddy,
I was just the reason why I asked Tony that because I was doing like a daily update. I was just following him quite a bit. That's why I asked that.
But he's showing signs of life offensively right now. But if you want to talk about, I don't know if you said they're the most disappointing team through the first week, but the way this season had started for the Angels has been pretty disheartening. For what they thought they were going to be. No one's hitting. The pitching hasn't been good. The bullpen hasn't been good. There's a lot of problems right now.
It helps that Rendon's back. I'll say that for certain.
Sure, but meanwhile they lose Simmons.
True.
From a defensive standpoint, that's huge. Rendon has one hit. But
he has 4 total bases.
Yeah, so maybe he'll get there.
No, he'll be fine. Fine.
Oh yeah, of course he will. But
now I think their offense is going to be fine, Teddy. But the bullpen is bad, and Madden's overusing the bullpen. On top of that, I still don't understand. And he defended it, but 2 days ago, Heaney's at 64 pitches, and he took him out.
Yeah.
That was a terrible move.
The question is, can we do anything with Houston? Who's coming off? That was a pretty disheartening series against the Dodgers.
Yes, it was.
In a lot of different ways for the Astros, despite, the clutch hitting wasn't there. The bats against the Dodgers bullpen that has overachieved so far, certainly. But, Houston's supposed to do something to somebody offensively. They weren't able to do anything. I wonder if their bats cooled off. I wonder what their heads are coming off kind of an embarrassing series at home. I'm not in any rush to lay that price with the Astros. Clear paths for me.
Cardboard fans are going to be booing like crazy tonight.
Yeah, keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, too, there are 4 games were against Seattle before not looking good against the Dodgers. Maybe this isn't the same Astros team anymore now that they can't cheat. Who knows how much that was really making them better than they really were the last few years.
We're going to find out. That's for sure. We're going to find out. It's the MLB Rundown Quick Hit segment. I'll throw it to you here, Steve. We'll start things off quickly, 30 to 45 seconds, nothing too deep. Cincinnati taking on Detroit.
Yeah, I know Johnny Detroit has a little futures ticket. He told us yesterday on the Tigers. I think they were 500 to 1 maybe. So
you got robbed at that.
I'll be a Tigers fan on all games when I'm not involved, including this one tonight. So I'll be a Tigers fan in this one. It's a tough call. I actually had Cincy last week and lost with them outright when they were a good-sized favorite. So been a tough team to trust. They finally got some hits in their last game. It's the first time they had double-digit hits all season when they put up those 12 runs against the Cubs. They've had a day off, so we'll see if that momentum carries over. Maybe it's the buy sign finally with the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, Teddy, I just got a new car, and I could have used that $500. Johnny was ready to burn. I mean, geez, he could have just sent me that. It would have went towards something I could have used. I don't know. I can think of a lot of better things, but hey, what are you thinking here in this matchup?
Well, I mean, you could have asked to book it, as long as you got $250,000 to pay out if they lose, or if they win and you lose. Which is, for
I'm just dripping sweat. World Series final, just dripping sweat.
Hey, guys, all jokes aside, though, they make that playoff format, like, Dave said, it's more teams in there. You got a nice little hedge going. So
yeah, there's 30 teams, and Detroit is not one of the 16 best.
That is true, bro.
No, that's a hard bet. I mean, what do you figure? The Tigers, the right price on them, probably more like 5,000 to 1. They have no chance.
As far as today goes, Teddy.
Yeah.
Well, as far as today goes, the Tigers, for as miserable as they are, they're playing okay baseball.
Best bullpen in baseball.
You know what I mean? And they're getting some clutch hitting.
Yeah.
When you have a bad team that is at least temporarily playing above their capabilities, they're not a team I'm in any rush to step in front of. And when you talk about like the most disappointing team, I mean, the Yankees, the White Sox and the Reds were the two teams that came into the season with the most wise guy hype. And both of them are 2-4, and they're both being asked to lay these big prices. And Castillo, you have to lay, $170 with them. Tigers are pass for me, which is a pass because I'm not involved.
Yeah, it's a pass for me. I made the price 175. It's right there. It's a good price. Reds should win. It's not a good bet.
Dave, I like fading Porcello, and you've got the Mets taking on the Braves. Do you like fading him?
I'm not going to do it here because I don't like Newcomb either. Newcomb is he's just not a guy who's got any consistency. He can lose his command and lose it in a big way, and I certainly don't want Porcello. I mean, could certainly argue that this is a game that might be high scoring, but after that performance by the Mets with men on base last night, yikes. I don't think I want to take them here either. They might be in a little bit of an offensive slump.
Tony, the Rays, Snell and the Rays taking on the Baltimore Orioles. This is a team that, geez, I mean, just when they think they're going to do something good, they don't. What are your thoughts on them and this matchup here? More importantly, actually, what are your thoughts on the way this is priced here? We've seen the price come down a little bit here on the Rays.
Well, Alex Cobb, we've talked about him a little bit on the show. He's not formed or molded into the pitcher many people thought he would, and Snell has. Snell's as good as they come. This Tampa Bay pitching staff. You saw it last night. Both of these teams, at least last night, Atlanta and Tampa Bay, both have a lot of some strong left-handed pitching. You're going to see that tonight here. Tampa Bay don't take what they did offensively last night as something that would carry over tonight against Cobb. I like Tampa Bay here. The price is too much for me. First off, I'm not playing a home team. I'm not playing. I wouldn't play. I should say that. I don't play the home teams on run lines. They're not the home team tonight. There is no home team per se, but there is statistically and innings wise. Tampa Bay minus 220. This opened up as what I saw. I see it's down to 185. That surprises me because there is no comparing Cobb and Snell, and there's no comparing these two offenses, in my opinion.
Steve, White Sox Royals. White Sox are a team that you turn on any MLB radio or any gambling show, even or no matter where you're looking, people like the White Sox heading into here. This matchup, what are your thoughts here in this one, side or total?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Kansas City last night as a rare favorite. It was only the second time, really the first time all season they've been more than a pick 'em, and they got the win. And you look at this team overall, they had about a 0.4% chance of winning the division with the full schedule. When it went to a 60-some game schedule, I think it went to like 14%. So that just once again talks about how this shortened season lets these underdogs have a chance to contend. I look for the regress back, though, after that win last night, the White Sox to get back on track.
A couple of notes. I want to throw in some because we got a first-time starter in this game. Bubik is the pitcher that's going for Kansas City. There's some hopes for him. He's a lefty. Got decent stuff. It looks like he's got a 4-pitch arsenal. But the projections I've seen on him are maybe a number 4 starter. and he's never pitched a game above high A. This is a big step up, and the White Sox, while they have not done a lot of things well so far, they have absolutely massacred every lefty they've seen. They have, their numbers against lefties are absurd. This kid could have a long debut or a short debut.
Rockies, Padres, Richards versus Gray. I'll throw it back to you, Dave. Your thoughts?
Not much. Where did I price this? I priced it 106 Padres. So no, that's the line. Excuse me. I priced it. I priced a little more than that. I made it 115. But the Padres bullpen, not sure what to make of that. Why isn't they're not using their main guy? They haven't used it for 3 days now. He did warm up last night, so I assume he's okay. Got Pomeranz available. We'll see what the Rockies do here. I'm not a big Rockies guy, but they've done certain things well out of the gate. Maybe I'm underestimating them.
Teddy, the price has gone up in this contest. Darvish taking on the Pirates. First of all, your thoughts on that movement? People betting on this one, and any thoughts on the total in this one is something I want to get out of you.
So I have no hesitation for anyone that wants to bet against Pittsburgh for any reason. All right.
No.
I think the Pirates are a team that you're going to make money. You can make money sometimes riding some bad teams, but you find an Akron in college football and you can bet against them every week all year. And, there's great value. Great. They're going to lose anyway. In MLB, I'm rarely looking for the value with the bottom feeders. And Pittsburgh, to me, looks very much like a bottom feeder. From a total standpoint, look, Chicago is a one-way team for me when it comes to totals. All right. The Cubs have, what do we talk about? Hot lineup, bad bullpen. Put those two together, and you know which way I'm looking with any Cubs. You don't even have to ask me. Cubs over is on my short list right now every single day. The wind's blowing in from left. That could be a concern here, but the total reflects that at 8.5. You can only play the favorite and or the over in this one. Square City.
I love overs with Pirates games. I'll tell you that much. Teddy, you mentioned the word value. Dave and I try not to use that too much on our KBO show because we found that in the comments it was being so overused. The reason why I bring up that show, Teddy, was because favorites were dominating in that league. I've said it, the top three teams. So Yanni the Greek always mentions that word. My question back to you, because I actually don't know this question about you. What's your cutoff point that you're going to change from a money line to a run line? And do you have one in general?
So there's at a price point, it's usually in the minus 150, minus 160 range. For clients, personally, I'm willing to lay more than that on occasion. Not regularly, but on occasion. But I know the clients really don't like it when you lay more than $150 or
right.
$160. So, but with run lines for me, there's two specific things I'm looking for if I'm getting involved in a run line wager, which makes the Cubs not worthy. I need a lineup that's hot and a bullpen that can get outs when I'm laying on the run line, and the Cubs don't have that bullpen.
And the other thing on runs lines is, and it's not, I'm not absolute on this, but I generally will only go runs line on a road team.
And
the home team, if they're ahead by one, they don't get the bat in the bottom of the ninth. Game's over. You lose 3 outs.
Is that set in stone, though, Dave, or is that circumstantial? Because,
no, it's circumstantial, but it's still 3 less outs.
Yeah,
absolutely. But if you got one team against the other team that's going to dominate in your eyes, does that one run make a difference to you that much?
It does when you lose.
Yeah, because a lot of games end up being one-run games. Even bad teams lose a lot of. Part of the reason they're bad teams, they don't get murdered every game. They lose a lot of one-run games. That's why to me -1 is. I like -1.
Yeah.
And I'll create the -1 by playing half money line, half runs line. I don't want to lose the ticket if they win by 1. I'll take a push.
Yeah, and Andrew, what's interesting about this game? It's a good example because the money line's -200. The full game run line is 1.5 even, pick 'em or so. Mm-hmm. But you can get a first 5 inning line for the Cubs -0.5, -135.
Right. That's a better bet.
I think that's the best way to play it. Yeah.
So do I.
I would agree as well. I'm going to throw it to you, Tony, on this one. Texas, San Fran. Mine are on the mound about -115. We're going to go with the prices come down here in this one. I'll tell you, I've had an interesting time. I'll use that word reading the San Fran team. Just totals perspective anyway. I've liked some first 5 unders with them. Late in game, don't know what I'm going to get.
Well, when it comes to San Francisco, when I see the name San Francisco Giants, when I see the team, I don't care who's pitching, whether it's Webb or whether it's a ghost of Madison Bumgarner. This is a bad team. This is a team that can't. They're horrible situationally, and Kapler. I'm not sure about what he's doing there. Maybe he's just trying to cause some confusion or be disruptive, so that he believes it's going to be an advantage to his team. But both of these pitchers, I'm not a big Minor fan. Texas has shown me nothing offensively. So the only way I can play this game, and the only way, it's the lowest number on the board. It's probably going to be the lowest number guys all year when you deal with San Francisco and another team that doesn't score. It's an 8. We're not seeing a whole lot of 8s this year because of the DH, but I still would lean to the under 8 in this game, even with Minor and Webb on the mound, simply because these teams are bad offensively.
Check the wind out there today, though. That'd be the one concern I have.
San Francisco? Well,
yeah, I've seen that might be blowing out.
It may end up on the warning track rather than a Texas leaguer.
It's blowing straight out the center.
Yeah, so that's the one concern there.
12 miles an hour. But I'll tell you this.
The thing is this. Having been to a few games in San Francisco, the wind might be blowing out in a certain part of the park, and it's going in the other direction in some other part of the park. It's not as bad as it was at Candlestick, where it was literally 2 different weather conditions on either side of the field. But the wind is still really tricky there. And the one thing that can get really tricky is the outfield is not familiar with that ballpark, right? And it can be a nightmare for them trying to track balls.
The night game in the Bay Area, it's tough for the ball to carry. It's whether it be in Oakland Coliseum or whether it be Candlestick, AT&T, whatever they're calling that stadium this year.
I'm going to have a talk with Johnny. We're going to try and get a meteorologist on the show with us. That'll really help us out here. We'll get someone to just come in with the game by game weather report. That'll really, really help us out. We'll get someone we'll toss it to someone. You know what? Johnny can hop on the show with us. Just let us know. I probably shouldn't say that if he's watching the show. We'll move on to the next game here. Oakland, Seattle. Toss it to you here, Steve. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think the only way to play it is Oakland. Obviously, you're going to be laying a big price whenever you're going against the Mariners. But as Teddy said, playing against the Pirates is always okay. In my book, playing against the Mariners most of this season will probably always be okay as well.
Mariners,
we'll go around the horn here on this one.
Mariners did have a not a bad series for them at Anaheim, and I think this price I think it's a little steep. I wouldn't lay this much with Oakland. I think they'll win the game, but at $1.93, no.
Teddy, I like the first 5 under in this game. Your thoughts on it?
I'm not playing any Mariners games under. I'm not. I mean, Seattle
I've had great success backing Oakland first 5 under, and I know what you're saying about the Mariners, but it definitely wouldn't be a full game, that's for sure.
Yeah, and again, last night's game 3-2 in the 9th and flies over the total, finished with 13 runs in that contest. Seattle has not yet cashed an under ticket this year, 6-0-1 to the over. And when you see something like that, you either ride it or you leave it alone. I left it alone tonight because Oakland's not hitting. Oakland's bats are ice cold coming out of the gate. I mean, really, the A's have been a little bit of a disappointment. And every quote I'm getting out of Seattle is we like each other, we're feeling good about things, we're taking good at-bats. You watch it, they're taking good at-bats. They win the last 2 games in L.A., and the money's – Seattle is the only side I could look at here, and over total-wise, I can only look at the over. I'm not going to play a Mariners under until they cash one.
And Mariners have a star. Kyle Lewis is this kid's going to be a superstar. Wow, is he talented. He's the kind of guy who you can build a team around.
Tony, we're set to go 45 minutes. I'm pretty much on the dollar here. We're getting pretty close here, so I'll keep it real short. Your thoughts on this final game for us, Oakland, Seattle?
Did Seattle make a trade yet today?
What?
It's still early.
Huh?
It's still early.
Okay, well, it seems like they make a trade every day. If this guy's not, or if DePaul's not orchestrating a trade, then I'm joking. Okay, my thoughts are that I tested the underwaters the other day with Seattle. Okay, here was off the top of my head. Here's the box score. The final score was 10-7. 10 runs on 10 hits. 7 runs on 8 hits. When you have those kind of numbers, I don't care who is on the mound. You're not coming in under. And I am with Teddy on this. I'm staying as far away from Seattle as I can because I can't figure them out.
Now, part of our show, we're going to look at some daily fantasy stuff very quickly. We'll get one or two guys, a batter, pitcher from each person. Tony, we've talked about this a couple times when we've been on the show together. Is there a pitcher that sticks out for you that would present some value for daily fantasy guys
Tonight?
for tonight's game?
No, for next Wednesday.
How about, okay. I knew that.
Sorry, the door was open and I had to go through it.
Dave, I'm too nice to say those, so
to be
that's your
home.
job. I need you to fill in for.
You can always count on the family to support you when you say something stupid. Okay, here we go. Value tonight. Here's my question to you, and I'm trying not to lengthen the show, but I want to present this to the panel, and that is: are we going to see more dichotomy as far as bad teams to good teams during the 6 games? In a season like this, are teams waving the white flag and playing young pitchers or trying to find out what they might have and something they don't know about? Because I think we've seen a whole lot more minus 200s. I feel like we're in September where teams are either in the race or out of the race, and we're having lines that basically are inflated. So as far as value goes tonight, I would probably take Mike Minor. I think you can get him.
That was my guy. By the way, we left out a game. We didn't talk about the Dodgers Diamondbacks, which might be the best game of the night. I also like Mike Minor. I think he's mid-priced and has a good chance against this pedestrian Giants lineup. So we're on the same page in that one, Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry, when one game goes long, I just kind of felt like I want to have so much time for one game. So that's my fault. I apologize to you guys and the viewership. If I can go back to you, Dave, we'll quickly go through the Dodgers game.
Well, yeah, I think Zach Gallen might give the. I know he didn't pitch well in his first start, and yet he still found a way to get out of it. Only 1 run in 4 innings, despite the fact that he had no command in the game. It tells you the kind of pitcher he is. I'm very high on him. I think he's got a chance to do well tonight and contain this Dodger lineup. And the Dodgers are coming out of a pretty big series. Give the Diamondbacks a shot in this game. It's not going to be on my card, but I would not be surprised if Arizona pulls a little bit of an upset tonight. Gonsolin has good stuff. He didn't show much in his first trip around last year, but the kid can pitch. This might be a surprisingly good pitcher's duel for a while.
Teddy, if I can give you a 2-part question here, I want your thoughts on the Dodgers Zona game, but also some daily fantasy stuff if you have anybody to offer us.
Sure. So Dodgers run line is something that makes a whole lot of sense to me. If you're going to get involved with the Dodgers, don't lay a price with them. Get them minus 1.5. Their bullpen has been extraordinary. Forget the starters. The Dodgers bullpen has been as good or better than any bullpen in baseball.
Yep.
And when you have that kind of a lineup and that kind of a bullpen, you play the team on the run line. And that's the only way I look here. I don't want Arizona. Arizona's good. It feels like – that said, I didn't play the Dodgers on the run line today. It feels like an Arizona spot. After the Houston series, after the win last night, this feels like an exhale spot. And I got a couple of quotes out of the D-backs saying our first week was disappointing. We're a whole lot better than this. We're going to turn this around. From a fantasy sleeper standpoint, you guys talked about Minor already. The one starter that you may want to look at is Dobnik from Minnesota, who's
cheap.
Again, I want a Cleveland lineup. I know I want to go against a Cleveland lineup that's not hitting. From a offensive standpoint, maybe you look deep into that Yankees, a little bit deep into the Yankees. Get a Gleyber Torres or an Aaron Hicks or somebody like that.
I think Torres might be out.
And they'd offer a good price on that. That'd be a cheap price for your lineup.
Yeah, that's the concept of a fantasy sleeper is a cheap price, isn't it?
I'm just saying, great work, Teddy. That's all I'm telling you.
I tried. I didn't have one last time.
You don't like encouragement, Teddy? I can't say great job.
I'm much better when we insult each other.
Okay. You don't like the mushy stuff, eh?
Oh, I agree. I like insulting everybody.
So what do you have, Dave? Obviously, it seems like every day in the show we're all just having the same people.
I like the two guys. I like Minor, and Teddy made a lot of sense with Dobnak, who will be even cheaper than Minor. So there's a deep sleeper right there. I think that's a good pick.
I thought you said we're no compliments. He made sense. What?
Well, no, I mean, if he'd have said something stupid, I would have, if he'd have recommended Ryan Weber as the fantasy pick, I probably would have been very insulting. But no, I think that makes sense. And if I were able to play daily fantasy sports here in Nevada, I'd probably take a shot at Dobnak, but I can't.
Steve, do you play daily fantasy sports?
You know, with NASCAR, when it came out about 5-6 years ago, I delved really deep and I realized how ridiculous the juice is on these matchups. Some of them are like laying minus 125 each way. That's how bad some of these contests are. So I don't delve too much into it with the sports like football and baseball. But what I will point out about, maybe look at some hitters from the Rockies and the Padres lineups tonight. First game in Colorado this season, highest total on the board. So Colorado's back home for the first time. Their numbers should be better. And the Padres have actually been red hot. I mean, red hot offensively. They put up 6 runs or more in 3 of the last 4, hitting the ball pretty well. Now they're in the altitude.
Directly following this show, Steve has his, and Tony will be on the NBA tip-off show Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Wager Talk TV. So on that note, we're going to have to get out of here and let these guys get ready for their show. Guys, I'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Everybody out there, good luck with your wagers. Thank you so much for tuning in. The viewership has been outstanding. For Teddy Covers, Dave Koken, Steve Merrill, Tony Finn, I'm Andrew McGinnis. Good luck with your wagers, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good day, gentlemen. Try to be